Well, as soon as I got the irrigation cut on, the bottom fell out, so I had to cut that off and everything just got watered in. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And to give you a quick update on my brother, as of today, the filming of this video, there's no new updates, nothing has changed. If you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, I'm gonna link up in the description below another video I did that's telling about my brother and his wife's situation and the triplets. And I give you my word, I will use every last ounce of influence I have on social media across every platform that I have to get the word out to as many people as I possibly can, so that we can have a legion, an army praying over my brother and his wife and these 3 babies. So please look in the description below, watch that video, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So this right here is Tiff Tuff Bermuda Sod. It's been here 2 months-ish or so, maybe a little bit longer than 2 months. I think I've mowed it maybe 4 times, roughly 3 or 4 times. You know, we laid it, what was it, late July, early August, something like that. And, you know, it had gotten rooted and started growing at right about the time Bermuda starts to kind of taper off and go downhill. It's getting ready to go into winter dormancy. The daylight hours are getting shorter, so the Bermuda just isn't going to perform as it would, say, back in June, July, in the heat of the summer when it's actually at its best. Bermuda being a warm season turf, it's going to shut down and go dormant and turn paper sack brown. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I guess you could overseed it with rye, but you can forget about that, brother. Those of you that follow me often know that I did that with first year Bermuda last fall, and it just didn't work out, so you can forget it. I mean, we might paint it this winter. You know, when it turns brown, I can get some dye and come out here and paint the grass. That'd be pretty cool. But you can see right here, man, it is doing some kind of good. Look at how lush and dense and thick that is. And I'm gonna tell you what, it is incredibly soft. I mean, incredibly soft. I have to look really, really close, but here's a sod line right there. You can just barely see it. You really can't see it from this angle, maybe a little bit there and over. You can kind of see it, the square right there. So it's filling in very nicely. So I'm tickled silly with it. It's looking great. I will not mow it anymore this year. The mowing's completely done. I actually prefer my Bermuda to be a little bit shaggy and a little bit bushy going into the winter to help to protect the ground, to try to keep it as thick as possible over winter. And then of course when we get into springtime, we'll wake it back up. And it's starting to rain again. As long as the bottom don't fall out, we're just gonna keep on going. I fertilized today. Using my Turfware. This is one of the new machines that we bought. Pro guys, pro applicators, I'll go over the machine at the end of the video. They made some really cool changes to it that I want to show you. But for any of you guys that have Bermuda and you want to put it to bed, that's what they call it, put it to sleep, put it to bed for the winter time, and it's really going to pick up raining here. We'll start over in a minute. All right, so that quick, I'm back. It's still a little sprinkled, but that'll be all right. Back to the Bermuda, I like to give it a real heavy shot of potassium while it's still actively growing. That's a trick. You don't want to wait and let it get brown and dormant and then try to feed it. It ain't gonna happen. Feed the plant while you still got a little bit of growth left so it can take in the product and get that heavy shot of potassium down. I use the Protene 0534. Now, if you go to the website, you're not going to see that one simply because we're not carrying it this year. Yes, we will have it for next year in 2022 in the springtime. So that way all you warm season folks can use it going into winter. All you cool season folks that like to use some extra potassium going into the summer, you can. Now, something I also did was I sprayed a little cow tide and some CK with the kelp. Both of those products are really good to help kind of mitigate stress and that kind of thing. If you look at my overarching theme, my granular Protene and then my liquid CK and cow tide, when you put all that together, you see the overall picture of trying to mitigate stress, because the Bermuda is going into a stressful time, okay? It's going out of its element. It's going to go into a cool winter. Well, I can't say cold, because typically we don't get like cold, but we do get cold enough to where, you know, when the first frost hits this, it's going to check out and go completely brown. And that can be a stressful time for Bermuda. So I want to get the material inside the plant and get it going, get it active before we get into that stressful time period. All right, so pro guys, let me go over some of the upgrades on this machine. First and foremost, this is my machine. I paid for it with my money. They do not give me machines to come on here and show you and pump them up and say, hey, look how good this is, go buy it. And in return for me getting a free machine. Don't work like that with me. This is my machine, I bought it with my money. Now, you know, over the past, 2 years roughly, we've been running the Turfwares, and we got the big, larger units. I got 5 of them up there in the shop, the XL, and love them. The reason I got a smaller unit is for 2 reasons, really. One is we do have some yards that justifies having a smaller unit. They're smaller yards, smaller gates, things like that. It's starting to rain again on me. Lord have mercy. Hey, the ground loves this, you know what I mean? We're gonna keep rolling in the rain. Just hope it don't mess my camera up. We got smaller yards that, yes, we can use this from time to time, kind of like a backup type machine, but still get used a little bit. And then plus, I wanted to keep one at my house to use on my yard. You know, I've got about 32-ish thousand square feet that I treat. And yes, I use the battery powered backpack sprayers when I'm showing my DIY buddies, but there are times where I get like really, really busy and I just need a machine to stay caught up. So I'll be able to use this at the house some, and I'll be able to use it in my business some. So the controls on the handle, the grips right here are pretty much the same. This thumb is your vibrator to work your granular material down to the holes, and over here on your left, this on and off is still your sprayer. I absolutely love that. It's right here at my fingertips, or my, I guess you could call it thumb tips right here. Here's one of the big changes right here on the dash. Here's your wand spray, trim spray, wide spray. So now they have the nice T-jet valve handles, valve bodies, or whatever you want to call them. And you just flip them on, off, whenever you want to use whichever one you want to use. Pressure regulators right here, which is really nice. The forward is still the same. You pull that back and then you push that forward for reverse. I'm ready if it starts raining hard again. We ain't gonna quit this go round. Spot spray tank. This is really nice. It just kind of fits down inside the hopper. It doesn't take up much of the hopper, maybe about this much. It looks like it's about 3 inches deep roughly, or 3 inches wide. But even at that, I'm still able to put 150 pounds of fertilizer in it and about 75-ish pounds of grass seed in here. So you're not really losing a lot of space, but you gain the ability to be able to spray a second chemical or a second liquid. Now back here on the back are 2 of my favorites. Look at the suspension now. This used to be a solid plate, but now it's a spring loaded, and oh man, it is so much nicer when you're riding and using the machine. Second thing is they really beefed up the parking brake. I mean, it is night and day different in the one that was on the originals. On the original machines, I actually had problems with it locking down and holding, but on this machine, it ain't going nowhere. They really done a good job on that upgrade. Another pretty major change is the pivot point in here where the machine articulates. It's kind of bigger and beefier and more bulkier and works a little better. And they actually moved the motor. I think they moved it forward to create a better stability on heels. And yeah, the thing already does great on heels. I absolutely love it on a hillside or going up and down, especially going down a hill. You can really feather it and go down a hill really slow if you need to, and it doesn't take off down the hill on you. So with them moving the motor, adjusting the motor where it used to sit, that's really improved the overall performance of how the machine handles a hill or slope. All right, so there you go. That's kind of an update. I apologize for the rain. I had no clue it come out of nowhere. I will do a little bit more in-depth detailed video on this for the lawn care applicators that are interested to check these out. We love them. That's all I can say is we love them. We've been through pretty much every brand on the market, and I've got to say to date, this is hands down my favorite one so far. Out of the bigger unit and the smaller unit, I prefer the bigger unit because the majority of our yards are bigger, more wide open yards, and they just work better for us. So good machine. That's all I can say about it. So, hey, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this fool stand out here making a video in the rain. And hey, the power of God's real. It's absolutely real. My brother had it on his heart and his mind to come here just now, and we stood out here in the pouring down rain. He prayed over me and my brother and the family and the triplets. I'm so humble and so grateful and so thankful for you, Kevin, for being obedient to Christ. Hey, I'll check you later.